Hey guys, welcome back to the Turnbuckle Tavern's YouTube page and our Tuesday exclusive show, Power Trip.
Power Trip!
Brought to you by your guys from Turnbuckle Tavern. This show is YouTube exclusive, so make sure you guys are subscribing to the YouTube page. Click the bell up in the corner so you know that when we're coming on with this show. We also have the Thursday edition of the regular podcast that you can find on Apple and Spotify.
The flagship.
That's our flagship show. And then on Mondays, we have the Turnbuckle Debate, where we take 3 topics and break down our opinions with me and Chad here. And then we also have
the staple,
the staple of the show. Might as well get that in because he gets hot.
At the OG Fig Kid. He's hot.
He gets mad if we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So not only is he a staple of the show, but he gets, if we don't say it, it's a problem. So
yeah,
make sure you guys are checking out us and the staple over on Mondays. And then
Apple and Spotify, subscribe to both. Pump our followers.
To both. We're growing. We're happy to be growing, and we're happy to be part of the Pod Foundation also, where you can find us with 3 other podcasts, the Extra Cooler Show, Chick Foley Show, and Pyramid Wrestling, all 3 great podcasts to be coupled with.
Yeah, go on Twitter and Instagram and follow at Pod Foundation. It'll keep you up to date on all of us.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great content coming out of there.
You'll find a ton of stuff. And if you guys if you guys like Chalkline, you can get a discount on there as well. You can get a 10% discount with the code PF10.
10% off. Great clothes.
You just got some shorts from there, didn't you?
Yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin shorts. Very, 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 very comfy and worth the price.
Yeah, I mean, if you get 3 or 4 comfies in there, it's definitely worth it. And you get 10%. What a deal.
What a deal. What a steal.
What a steal. That's PF10. So, business at hand. Today is Tuesday. We get NWA Powerrr at 6:05. And this is us breaking down that show.
This was last week was the Pope. We said it was a Pope centric episode.
Yep.
I feel like this week it's all about Chris Adonis, the masterpiece.
Yeah, this is his episode. We get, so in the beginning we get Nick Aldis, he's out there talking, and then Trevor Murdoch comes out and interrupts.
Love this promo by Aldis, and I love when Trevor comes out, just like he's bringing that full redneck energy, big 100%. Redneck energy. But before he interrupts Aldis has a line. I love how he starts. He's like, I want to take a minute. I want to take a moment to discuss an affliction I'm having.
Yeah.
And he's like, my problem is all I know how to do is win. It was such a hilarious thing. And then he says to Kyle, you know what I mean, Jelly Bean? It just popped me. Like,
it's just the way he said it. No, I love that he came out with, like, it sounded so serious. And then he says, all I know how to do is win.
Yeah.
Last week I win, the pay-per-view I win.
Aldis is a top promo in pro wrestling right now.
The guy's so good, man. I really can't wait to see who we're going to get challenged for his title.
Like the true long-term challenger. Like,
because that's where we're seeing him shine, but that's where it is going to go over the top, man.
Yeah. He needs that person. Like we said last week, he needs that person to truly push him to the limit, not only in the ring, but in storyline and in promo. So I think we're still waiting on that to kind of happen. But the thing I did like when Trevor and Nick are at the podium and they're kind of chirping back and forth at each other is I love how Aldis kind of turned it. And he's like, we share a common ground. We were both broken in by Harley Race. And you can go in our archives on YouTube and check out our Nick Aldis interview. He talks about all his experience with Harley Race. But he talks about how Harley was old school, and he asked Trevor, what would he say?
Yeah.
And Trevor can't think of what Nick is looking for him to say. And Nick says, never turn your back on your opponent. And then who comes in? The man of the episode, the masterpiece, Chris Adonis, attacks him from behind.
Yeah, so he goes on a brutal attack on Murdoch, leaves him. I mean, he's hurting.
They're
Leaves
fighting
him.
around cameras. This is why I love studio wrestling. They're fighting around cameramen. They're not trying to hide all the cameramen. The cameramen are
No,
blatantly in the way. They're
right.
fighting. Velvet Skies just going off on the mic, talking about the attack.
Yep.
And this is the way you sell an attack like this. All the refs come in. They're helping Trevor Murdoch, who looks like he just got the shit kicked out of him for real.
Yeah.
So the way the refs are there and they're taking their time. They're not speeding through this. They're seeing him on the floor. You're seeing him get helped up. He's laboring to his feet. And the commentary is just selling it. I'm loving Tim Storm on commentary.
Tim Storm's great. Tim Storm he's the best thing sitting at that commentary desk.
Yeah. And I know we're talking about Chris Adonis kind of being the breakout of this episode. But, last week we talked about Pope having 4 potential opponents come out of that episode. Well, in this episode, I feel like Trevor has now threw himself into 2 possible feuds. You've got Aldis, who kind of set him up for Adonis to attack him from behind. And now obviously you have Adonis and they have a match. Right. So there's 2 people that Trevor could feud with.
It's almost like they're always trying to set up a story no matter where they go with it.
Right.
Like and I like that because it doesn't give you that predictability.
Right. And I think the big question, you had posed this before we started the show tonight. The big question is, do you think Chris Adonis joins Strictly Business with Nick Aldis and Tom Latimer and Camille?
I do think he does. I do think he will join. That's especially, after tonight, I don't think there's a question whether he's going to join or not.
Right. Yeah. Especially where he was in the 6-man tag. He was their 3rd member in the 6-man tag last week. Right. So I think they're setting that up and he fits the vibe.
He's 100% a member of Strictly Business.
Yeah. I think you're right.
And he needs to be in there. They need to have him.
Yeah.
As that faction needs to be more than the 2 of them and or the 3 of them.
Right.
They need that 4th member. So if they're going to have a 4th member, he's 100% who needs to be there.
Yeah. They lost Royce Isaacs. So this is someone to kind of fill that 4th member. May Valentine interviewed Aaron Stevens and Kratos, the tag team champs.
Yep.
And Sal, I believe is his name, Sal.
Yeah.
He interrupts and challenges for the tag titles.
I'm not 100% in on, or I don't know much about his gimmick, but is he supposed to be super weird?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you remember a couple, before NWA went away for the pandemic, he was the one that was like tied up with May Valentine and Royce Isaacs was getting hot about it. Because she was saying it was her best friend, but they remember that storyline.
Yeah, I do. Okay.
He's kind of fun. He kind of reminds me, not in look or stature or anything like that, but just in the type of character he is. He reminds me of like a John Silver meets Peter Avalon.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay. Yeah, that explains that whole segment then.
Yeah. So
but it seems like the tag team, it seems like they're on the same page as for right now. So
yeah, Kratos was a little more aggressive than he seemed like he was ready to whip Sal's ass versus Aaron was a little more like just giving title shots away.
Yeah. I thought there was going to be a problem when he didn't even ask Kratos if he wanted to.
Right.
Yeah. Didn't even ask him if he wanted to defend the belts against him.
Right. Yeah,
that just kind of accepted.
He just went along with it. Then he kind of bullied Sal out of the camera. So then we get Slice Boogie against Jeremiah Plunkett.
Yeah, well, Jeremiah Plunkett from Taterville, Tennessee.
Taterville,
which is when I heard that, literally had to rewind it to watch to make sure that I heard he was from Taterville.
Oh, that's as pro wrestling as it gets.
Yeah.
It's almost like Mance Warner being from Bucksnort, Tennessee.
Right. I love it. it's such, it just fit. It sounded so good. And the match was good. Slice Boogie looked really good in the match.
I like the match.
Plunkett he used an old school sleeper hold.
I loved it.
It was just so old school. I mean, classic, no modification to the move, no frills around it. He literally grabbed him, put him in the sleeper hold.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah. His whole package was very throwback.
Yeah.
Then we get, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say Slice Boogie gets the win, and I love the name of his finisher, the pile driver that he does. And it fits his character so well. It's the dead ass driver.
Yeah, it's so good. Dead ass driver.
It's so, I mean, that just screams New York City.
Oh yeah, that's something you'd hear Private Party say.
Yeah,
dead ass. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
So then we get Tyrus versus Mims.
Yeah, Austin Idol comes out. He's hollering, and I can't understand what he's saying because he's just walking around hollering.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, man, get a mic in front of this guy.
Right.
So then they go over, they bully Velvet out of her seat.
Yeah.
And she's gone. So Austin Idol joins, and they start talking junk to Tim Storm, saying, you know, what a man. And he, classic Tim Storm, he goes, it's called being a gentleman.
Yeah.
It's so classic.
I love Tim Storm, man.
He's so good.
He's so good. He's so classic. Like the way he calls matches. There's a call he has later in the night that I singled out that I want to talk about, but
yeah,
the half man, half monster. He's a manster from Austin Idol.
He's a man. He's a monster. He's a manster. And he said that like 3 times.
Oh, I feel like we're getting a t-shirt. He was pushing it so hard.
It's 100% gonna get a t-shirt.
And I love the chirping back and forth between Idol and Storm throughout the match. Like,
oh yeah,
because Tim Storm is such a gentleman. His digs are very subtle,
very just clean,
classy. But he can get them in there and they bite.
I love it.
But Tyrus dominates.
Yeah, he gets in there, dominates the match, and
then we get Pope and Fred Rosser at the podium.
Yeah, so this match is supposed to headline tonight.
Right.
This is supposed to be the main event tonight. And then we get a card. There was a slide that came through that said card subject to change. The Fred Rosser Pope match is going to be next week. And that our main event this week is going to be Chris Adonis versus Trevor Murdoch. And so we get the interview with Pope and Fred Rosser, and I thought this interview was great.
It was really great.
Yeah. Fred Rosser comes in and he's talking, and Pope kind of cuts him off, and he says, you know, I remember a little Fred Rosser coming up to me asking for advice.
Yep.
And I just thought it was done very well.
Yeah, it's the classic student teacher mentor type feud. Like and Pope was so good at putting that together. He's really, really good on the mic. He always has been.
He's great. He had a line at the end, and I can't remember what the line was when he left, but it was so good.
Yeah, I can't remember. The
way he ended it was great. And Fred Rosser's just going, let's do it now. Let's go right now.
Yeah.
And then our next match, we have Thunder Rosa and Alex Gracia versus Sky Blue and Genocide.
Yeah, Genocide is a brute.
Yeah.
She's thick and big.
That's a great way. She is a monster of a woman.
Right.
Melina's out on commentary for this one.
Yeah, and I like the ref keeping the girls in line, because at one point Alex Gracia went for a pin while Thunder Rosa was pinning, and the ref's like, no, you got to get out of here. keeping
he said,
the
get
rules.
out of the ring. He said, get out of the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this match ends with this. It ends by DQ when Camille comes in.
Yeah, Camille sneaks in and pretty much cuts Thunder Rosa in half, I think the commentary said, with a spear.
Yep. Yeah.
And Melina gets up from the commentary, kind of goes to check on Thunder Rosa. And Camille's just staring down Thunder Rosa and Melina and kind of talking shit back and forth with Melina. And another example of veteran emotion from Melina.
Yeah.
I was totally buying her emotion when she's talking to Camille. She's so good. This is why having veterans involved in companies is important, because they bring a seasoned experience with not only matches but with promos that young talent, when you see stuff like that, I think it inspires the younger talent and makes them better.
Yeah, you have to have that old talent come in. Not saying she's old. I'm just that the veteran talent. You have to have the veterans come in, because just like you said, I mean, that one, it drives them to be better, but two, you have to have them because they know they've been there, and they're gonna guide you because they've been in the top spot before.
Exactly.
So it was nice to see her in there. She did a good job. So while this is going on, though, Genocide's standing behind Camille, and you just hear the crowd's going, Jen is going to kill you.
Yeah, Genocide's just standing behind Camille, and she doesn't even realize it yet.
Yeah. So she turns around and sees her, and then it cuts off. We don't get to see anything else.
No, we just see him go nose to nose, but that's enough to tell you we're going to get a Genocide Camille match.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great match.
That's going to be those two. That'll be a good match.
I mean, Camille's definitely got she's a little more like cut up, and you can tell she's got that bodybuilding background to her, but Genocide is just in size and in stature is just as big as her.
Absolutely. And then we get our main event.
Yeah, and we have Aldis on commentary. And before we get into the main event, I was going to ask you, do you think Aldis is a baby face or a heel?
Heel.
Yeah.
I think he's a heel. Yeah.
It's weird though, because sometimes like he'll cut promos where he has a lot of baby face traits where he's putting the company over.
Yeah.
He's honoring tradition of NWA, but there's an air of just egotistical superiority to him that I love. And I think that's what makes him more of a heel.
He has this arrogance to him that pushes him in the heel realm for me. Right. And it's, he will come in and put the company over and he's a company man, which is that's a very face thing.
Right.
Until he says that he's the reason behind,
right.
He puts that heel spin on it. And even when Tim Storm was going over, not hanging it up, and he said, I'm glad that you're not hanging it up. I'm glad that you're going to have more matches. He said, but then he starts talking junk to Tim Storm.
There was an exchange where Tim Storm's giving him the credit of champion and that he lost to him. And he's like, and then he says he says something like, I may not agree with anything he says, but he is our champ. And then Aldis responds with, well, thank you for that shining endorsement, Tim. Like, it was so like their interaction at the start of that match. I was literally like popping and crying.
Oh
laughing.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Great. Yeah.
The history between those two too. One of the best feuds in recent modern in NWA history.
Yeah. And I believe, you can go back in our archives. We talked to both of them. So
yeah, both great guys.
We have interviews with both of those guys, and they talk about a lot of that stuff in the interviews.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So go check that out. Don't do yourself a disservice and not check that out.
Yeah. Both Aldis and Tim Storm were great discussions. I love talking to those guys. But the masterpiece, Chris Adonis versus Trevor Murdoch.
I loved this match.
Loved it. Great.
Yeah.
Saw this. This was a perfect NWA Powerrr main event.
Oh, couldn't have been. They couldn't have had a better main event for the show because they set it up in the beginning where he whoops his ass in the beginning and he's down and out, getting carried out. But true champion form, he wants to come out and avenge himself.
And how's he come out?
What's that?
How does Trevor come out? In a neck brace.
Right, in a neck brace.
Yeah, he's got a neck brace on.
I love it. And because the promo he cut earlier, he said that he missed a week. He can't miss a week of paychecks.
Yeah, he's got to get to that pay window, man.
He's got to get it. So he comes out and we got the main event. He puts the title on the line in a no DQ match.
Yeah, it's a no DQ. As soon as I saw that it was a no DQ, I was like, okay, Aldis might get involved.
Right.
Because he kind of took his attention away, and that's when Adonis attacked him at the top of the show.
Right.
But good, solid match. Dude, Adonis was laying his shit in.
Oh, yeah, he was. There was no, I mean, when they said that they were going, hard on the concrete, they were going at it on the outside.
He body slammed Trevor on the concrete.
Yeah.
Which, when you don't have mats out there, like classic studio wrestling, you don't have mats out there.
Yeah.
It adds a level of danger.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to have, I mean, those mats, as thin as what they may be, you're getting some sort of protection.
Yeah, and I love how Adonis just zeroed in like a target. I think Storm or Aldis even commented, like, coming out in a neck brace is like wearing a target on your neck.
Yeah.
And Adonis is coming after that neck. They beat the hell out of each other. And Adonis pretty much dominated.
Yeah, that was his match, man. He took advantage of him being hurt and he absolutely laid it in on him.
Yeah, and Tim Storm in this match deserves a Barry Horowitz. He deserves a Barry Horowitz pat on the back because he did two things that I love. That is total old school throwback shit. One, I love when he says the line, at a certain point, Trevor has to start thinking long-term career. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, really selling, like, this match could change his life.
He needs to think about your family.
Yeah. And then the second thing, which is my favorite all-time thing, is when the commentator gets really soft-spoken and says, "This is hard to watch." Like Adonis is just beating the tar out of Trevor,
and they just
Tim Storm.
Just
this is hard to watch.
This is hard to watch.
So good. That is. I'm loving Tim Storm on commentary, man. I can't.
He's great.
He is so good.
Yeah.
But the big news of the night, Chris Adonis, after beating him post to post, beating Trevor Murdoch post to post, he locks that master lock on that full Nelson master lock. Is he still calling it master lock, or is that what they called it in WWE?
I'm wanting to say they called it master lock. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100%, but I'm wanting to say that they called it the master lock.
So he wins it. He wins the NWA national title.
Nothing made me happier than him putting that on and him dropping his arm 3 times. And that's how he lost.
Yeah.
It wasn't a pinfall.
No.
He didn't submit. He was out cold. And his arm dropped 3 times. We didn't even get the third.
No, the Hogan.
Yeah.
Just 3 and done.
Out. I loved it. I loved this match, period, but that finish put it way over the top for me.
That's old school wrestling, baby.
Yeah.
You know?
When was the last time we've seen a match end like that?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Could not tell you.
I cannot remember the last time I saw a match end like that.
Maybe does Bobby Lashley have a move? Does Bobby Lashley do a move like that? Maybe.
Does anybody watch Bobby Lashley? I don't know.
True. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even giving that full the time of day on here.
Yeah, anything Raw does we no. Let's not get into that.
Yeah.
But we got a title change.
Yeah. New national champion, Chris Adonis. And Nick Aldis comes over. He hasn't officially joined Strictly Business, but I feel like this is the catalyst that's going to make it happen.
Oh, he's got a belt now.
Yeah.
Why
would they not want to bring gold to Strictly Business?
Exactly. What's your thoughts on the national title?
I love it.
You like that belt?
I do.
It's so no frills.
That's what I like. That's what I like about NWA's belts.
Yeah.
Is that Billy came in and did not change anything from the past.
Right.
The tag team belts are the old tag team belts. The TV titles, the TV title. I mean, they never changed the design, and I love that.
No, I do too. I love how it just looks like a big red leather strap. There's no variation in shape. It's just
a belt.
It's a big fat belt with a gold United States on it.
It's like it's a weight belt with a plate of the full continental United States.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
So that was the episode. Solid episode. Great main event. Great character building throughout.
I will say, I think I like that belt more than the New Japan belt.
Oh man, that belt is ugly.
I wasn't sure if you saw that belt today, but
yeah, it looks like the shape of it. I have a problem with. It looks like
it looks like Cody Rhodes' neck tattoo.
Either that or the Divas belt back in the day.
Yeah,
the butterfly belt.
Yeah,
not a fan, but I think what we're seeing in these first Power episodes, I think they're establishing the players.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. You know what I mean? Like the main players, but people need to not get complacent with how they're laying out their talent, because I feel like this is how they typically do things, and then I feel like surprises are still in the way.
Oh, they're definitely coming. They're laying groundwork right now.
Yeah.
They're laying groundwork. We haven't even scratched the surface of what they're going to do.
No.
So
they're reacquainting us with all these familiar faces and new faces. They're telling us, okay, these are going to be our weekly major players, but then they're going to start pushing more pieces onto the board.
Yeah. And please let us be your NWA source, but come to us, watch right now and get your fix for it if you're not watching it, but don't do yourself a disservice and not watch it.
No, it's $5. It's $5 a month to watch Power.
Get on there and watch it. And then, but
and Nick Aldis said it. Nick Aldis said it at the top of the show, and I have to agree with him. I mean, we are obviously the biggest AEW fans. We love AEW, Impact, all of that.
Yep.
But I 100% agree with Nick Aldis when he says NWA Powerrr is the most original wrestling show out there. 100% he's right.
Yeah. There's no question to that. That's 100% fact. And again, if you're not watching, get in on the ground floor and start watching. We're fresh into this new season of Powerrr.
Yep. So we'll be back next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week to continue to do this. Make sure you guys leave comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribing so you can know when we're coming back with this video.
Share the video on social media. Tag your friends. Get the word out there.
Yeah, we are the premier NWA review show. So
yeah, it's growing. I mean, our second episode tripled.
Yeah. So make sure you guys are spreading the word, and we'll be back every Tuesday, next Tuesday on here. And then you can find us on Thursdays and Mondays on Apple and Spotify with our other two shows. You guys have a great evening. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you.